Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to look at a specific type of CSGO skins, and we're going to approach this type of skins from the investment standpoint. And those skins are the CS2 agents. I have recommended them before as investments, but some time ago I stopped recommending them and I stopped investing into them myself in the first place because the situation around these agents is always on the brink of going absolutely ballistically bad. Let me explain exactly what I mean. Right here I have three different agents, all in chronological order. This one from the Shattered Web, from the Broken Fang, and from the Riptide operations. Starting with the first one, we're going to look at the price graph. It was introduced back in November 2019, and back then agents were new. That was the first time ever we saw agents, and within that period of the operation they dropped in price more and more since people were unlocking more and more agents, because back then you couldn't just buy agents from the operation shop, you had to get it from the battle pass star activation system, and it was kind of harder to get these agents. But as time went and the operation ended, there were a lot of agents on the market. Everybody basically had a Shattered Web agent, at least one basically in their inventory, and prices weren't too high, right? But as time went and there were no other new operations, no other new agents introduced, they went higher and higher and higher until actually next year there was a new operation and new agents were introduced. Prices dropped the hell down and they just kept recovering higher and higher as the operation Broken Fang ended, and then they recovered more and more and more until the next year again in September Operation Riptide was released, and again the price dropped quite heavily. Both these drops were about 30% down. About a year after the Operation Riptide was introduced, people expected a new operation, therefore new agents, and therefore they expected the prices to drop. And I expected that too. I mean, it made sense, right? Of course, it's not 100% possible to predict the Steam market, but it often has patterns in its behavior. And if you recognize these patterns, it's quite profitable, right? And because of that, me and lots of people thought that a new operation should be on the horizon, and the prices would drop, and therefore we should probably sell all the agents, not invest into any, and just hold up. But as time went, there was no new operation, and people kind of started thinking that might be no operation at all, and considering that they were working on CS2, chances are they weren't working on a new operation. So because there was such a low chance for a new operation, people kept buying these agents again, maybe as investments, maybe as flips. I bought a few back then myself. The market peaked around April, May, June for some items, and then it crashed again towards the end of summer. And as September came, the market peaked once again. And currently this item is selling for right about 6.2, 6.3 euros on Steam. But if we look back at what the price was before the CS2 hype, it was 220. It was 3 times less, 3 times. It's quite uncommon for skins to grow that much in 1 year and then not crash. Especially when we consider that this is an item that heavily crashes when there is a new operation and there is a new collection of this type of items introduced. Okay, this was the analysis of price history for this specific item, but I have looked at the other Shattered Web agents and they all have very similar price. Isn't exactly the same, but in general it's very similar. This one was about 3 euros before the CS2 rumors and currently 2.5. And you can see that during Broken Fang it crashed about 30%, during Riptide it crashed around 30%, so yeah, crashes are just as valid for these items as well, and I checked some more of them and it's also true. We could draw a conclusion just from those Shattered Web agents, but I want to look at the Broken Fang and Riptide ones as well. Here is the lifetime graph for this agent. Started around December, that's when Broken Fang started, the price went down as more of them were generated, and as the operation ended, they went up in price slowly and slowly until they crashed about 40%, 30, 35, 40%, something like that. That's a general average for all of the Broken Fang agents. But still, it did crash. This is an undeniable truth that if there is a new operation, new agents are introduced, the old agents guaranteed crash 30, 40%. That's based on the old circumstances. Right now, the circumstances are slightly different, right? because there was no operation in this period when it was supposed to happen a year after the Riptide operation, they kept going up in price. They peaked around here at 48 goddamn euros, crashed a little bit since then because the market itself crashed entirely. In October it peaked again and since then has regulated a little bit. But when we look at the price of these agents back when Riptide was introduced, they were around 10 euros, crashed 30-40%. And they would have done the exact same thing around here. If they were around 13-14 euro, they would have crashed to maybe 10-9 euro. And nowadays they maybe would have been worth 20 euros, right? So the fact that they're so goddamn expensive now, and they have been for a while, leads me to believe that these items are gonna crash so hard when a new operation comes. Like, not even talking about 30-40%, maybe even more, because there's just been such insane growth. Here's Riptide agents, they were 3 euros at the bottom. That's while the Riptide operation was still active and you could get them easily for stars. That was the actual sustainable price, right? They only cost around 3.50 euro if you bought them with stars. You couldn't like exactly buy them, you rolled right out 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 3 or something like that, but still on average you had to pay around 3.50 euro to get this agent. So that's why it was like 3 euro on the market, slightly cheaper. But as the operation ended, obviously the supply was cut for these items, so you could no longer generate them, and 6 euro was about the price that people were willing to pay. And as time went, the prices increased again and again. And here's another fun thing I'm gonna tell you. Unlike stickers, unlike weapon skins, agents are impossible to get rid of, right? You can't trade them up, you can't apply them like stickers, you can't scratch them. If the supply is generated, if the supply is 100,000 agents, the supply will always forever be 100,000 agents, unless people get banned with agents on their accounts, which does happen, but not that much, right? It doesn't eradicate that huge of a supply to warrant a price going double, right? That's absolutely artificial. What is actually happening is people stocking up on thousands and thousands of these agents as investments, hoping to make a buck. But this is not sustainable. They're just limiting the supply artificially, and more people buy, more people invest, more people just buy them to play with them because player base increases. The price of these things is gonna crash to absolute oblivion when new agents come out for like 3 euros. Here's my verdict for the state of the agent market currently. If you have agents, you're playing on thin ice, like thin ice. And I'm not saying it's not profitable to play on thin ice. Sometimes the riskier something is, the more profitable it is. I know plenty of people that flip agents currently from one website to another because it's so profitable, but you never know when CS2 is just new operation, bros. New operation, new agents, everybody loses like 50% in their agents. Guaranteed. Honestly, I feel like this is the most certain thing that's ever happened. Now, of course, there's still some elements of uncertainty, such as we don't actually know when a new operation is gonna come out. That's the hardest thing to think about and try to predict. And the other thing is we don't know if they're gonna have agents in the first place. Because what if they don't have agents in the next operation? That's probably not gonna make them crash. I'm not saying I've done the best investment decisions across the years, but I was able to successfully predict the crash of the Riptide operation, right? Because there were rumors that a new operation is gonna come out like a week or 2 weeks before the Riptide operation. Therefore, I sold all of my agents. I didn't buy new ones, and then voila, minus 40%. I bought new agents, I started flipping them at the bottom, made a lot of profit with them. So yeah, that's my lesson for you today. Agents, probably don't go for them. That's the conclusion. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching the video till the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, please do smash the like button, because for every single like, my YouTube video gains like another 10 views, and that's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. And alright, that's about it for today. Have a good rest of the day, and may Lord Gaben bless you with some stonks. Alright, bye bye.